stop discussing and start doing it. Ms. Pratima is profusely elated to take an opportunity to introduce our chief guest of the day, Dr. Selvaraju.
A very good morning to all. It is a moment of extreme pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Selvaraju M., Head of Data Science, SaaS Startup, Coimbatore. He has experience as programmer analyst in Cognizant from the year 2006 to 2008. He has also experience as data analyst in Australia and as seasonal lecturer in La Trobe University and as technology manager in Business Innovation Center, Coimbatore. And he was also a board member of Government Hack Australia. I'm really grateful for this opportunity to introduce our chief guest. Thank you.
Now I request Pavish of First MBA to offer a bouquet to our chief guest, Dr. Selvaraju. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pavish.
As this conclave is built with intent of active and interactive learning, we sincerely hope that ideas and views that will be shared during the interaction will sow its seeds for a sustained fruitful result. Now, I request the resource person, Dr. Selvaraju, to enlighten us with his thoughts.
Good afternoon. I cannot keep my slides to 140 characters, unfortunately, even though I know that your time span is about 140 characters, thanks to Twitter. What I will cover is not something very fancy or not something that is very advanced. I'm going to cover something extremely basic. Okay? Yeah, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so before you talk about data analytics, let's talk about data first. Okay, before you talk about analytics. What is data? Anybody? ஒருத்தர் சொல்லுங்க. Okay, data, somebody said it's information. Sorry? Collection of facts. Excellent. Friends படம் பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா? அதுல வந்து ஒருத்தர் கேட்பார், what is machine? பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா? ஒருத்தர் சொல்லுவாரு, அமெரிக்கன் என்ன சொல்லுவாரு? Something very practical, correct? Who can here give you a practical definition of data? Okay, so let's start with this one. How do you know my name is actually Selva, not Steve Jobs? Sorry? I'm not a Caucasian. Oh, right. Okay. So, all right, cool. So, somebody did something and they found my LinkedIn profile. How do you know my LinkedIn profile is not fake? Duh. Happens. How do I know my name is not Steve Jobs? Prove me wrong. Sorry? Okay, when I was born, so actually my name is Selva, just for the fact. So data is, so when I was born, so there is a male and a female went to the by Constitution of India. They went to a registrar and they found out this son was born for these couples, given the power of Constitution, and they give them a name. And there is a registrar who took my name, put it on my birth certificate, and called me Salva. And that's how I become Salva. So, a basic definition of data is the data has to be agreed. If it's not agreed, what do we call it? Fake news. And you've probably seen a lot in the WhatsApp group, correct? Everybody is saying if influenza is spreading, go and drink Dettol. And we do that, do we? So that's fake news. So basically, a data is representation of agreed facts. It has to be agreed. If it's not, then it is fake news. Next slide, please. Who can name this device? Anyone? Floppy disk. Thank God. Next slide. Great. Who can tell the next slide? Yeah. Next slide, please. Okay, who can give me the storage of this device? 3.5 inch floppy disk. 4 MB. Okay, anybody? 5 MB. Wow. Check. Me now. Can you hear me now? Better? Excellent. So who can give me the storage of this device? 3 MB? Wow. 4, no. The answer to this question actually reveals my age. I'm extremely old. The actual capacity of the storage device is 1.44 megabytes. Now, if you take a picture in your phone, I don't think this will work out. So, the point I'm trying to make is, if you take your phone, take a picture, you know the size of the picture, it's at least 5 megabytes, which means you can't even store one picture in this bloody device I've shown you. Guess what? I have 600 of this floppy disk dying in my desk. To install Microsoft Office, I have to put in 20 floppy disks in sequence to install a software. What happens? What's happening is the way in which we collect data and use data is actually accelerating. Netflix on a single day generates 1 petabyte of data and they throw away 50% of it. Okay? So that's exactly how we are actually grown from 2010 till 2023. We generate huge amount of data. So why this data growth is happening? Compute power. My first desktop PC was 1.6 megahertz Pentium 4 processor. Right now, the device you hold, your smartphones, is much, much powerful than my desktop, which I had 30 years ago. Second thing, dial-up modems. I'm pretty sure none of you have heard about something called dial-up modems. This is the modem. You got to take your phone connection, plug into the back of your CPU, and you got to click a dial button. It takes about 1 minute. It makes some fuzzy noises, and it connects to the internet of amazing speed of 20 kilobits per second. இப்போ யூடியூப் கிளிக் பண்ணி ரவுண்டா சுத்திட்டு இருந்துச்சுன்னா உங்க தங்கச்சிங்க குட்டி பாப்பாக்கெல்லாம் வேலை செய்யலன்னு தூக்கி போட்டுருவாங்க. But that's how I connected to the internet 30 years ago. That changed. The next thing, we do not have something called smartphones. Every single touch you generate on your smartphone generates a piece of data. Guess what? There's about 6 billion people in the world, and 6 billion people have more than 2 or 3 devices. And that what's actually happening to that? It's actually generating a lot of data. சரிங்க, எல்லா டேட்டாவும் ஜென்ரேட் பண்ணியாச்சு. அமேசான்ல வாங்குற கேப்சர் பண்ணியாச்சு. கேட் வீடியோஸ் பார்க்குறீங்க, ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணியாச்சு. கொரியன் மூவி டிராமாஸ் பார்க்குறீங்க, ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணியாச்சு. 10 தலை ட்ரெய்லர் பார்க்குறீங்க, அதுவும் ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணியாச்சு. What do we do with this data? என்னங்க பண்றது? சும்மா டேட்டா வாங்கி வச்சுட்டு வந்துக்கலாமா? What do we do with this data? என்னங்க பண்ணலாம்? Sorry? Again? Make use of data. Wow. Yes. So I want to quote something from OIR. I keep telling my wife, there's an amazing quote. She says, கல்லானே ஆனாலும் கைப்பொருள் ஒன்று உண்டெனில் எல்லோரும் சென்று அவனை எதிர்கொள்வர். படிக்காத முட்டாளா இருப்பான், அரசியல்வாதியா இருப்பான், என்ன பண்ணுவோம்? We give them a red carpet welcome, correct? இல்லானை, காசு இல்லாதவன இல்லாலும் வேண்டாள். இல்லன்னா மனைவிங்க, வைஃப் வந்து வேண்டான்னு சொல்லிடுவாங்க. ஈன்றெடுத்த தாயும் வேண்டாள், அம்மாவும் வேண்டான்றுவாங்க. செல்லாது அவன் வாய்ச்சொல். என்ன லேம் எக்ஸ்கியூஸ் வேணா சொல்லலாம், பணம் சம்பாதிக்கலன்னு என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க? So every single data that you give, the company wants to make only one thing: make money. There is no hidden agenda. It is plain, simple, and clear. Make me money. How do they do that? They build new products and new services with the data that you give for them for free of cost. And they'll also change the business model. I'll give you some examples in the subsequent slides to do that. So we talked about data. What is business analytics? Business analytics is all about utilizing your business data for achieving your business outcomes. Somebody said use of data. So they will use the data to generate more money. Point number 1. They will use the data to generate customer satisfaction. Extremely important. They will also use the data to deliver some value-added services, which you love to have. Give an example. How many of you do not have Hotstar, Netflix, or Amazon Prime? Do not have. Raise your hands. Oh, there's few. How many of you here do not have cell phones at your hand? Anyone? Do not have cell phones with me? I am the outlier. ஒருத்தர் இருக்காரா? ஏங்க செல்போன் வச்சிருக்கீங்க? பப்ளிசிட்டியா? Okay, so coming back to Netflix. So Netflix, I don't know how many of you know that. 25 years ago, we used to have this VCD. புது படமெல்லாம் வந்துச்சுன்னா அங்கே போய் VCD வாங்கி பார்ப்போம். This was 20 years ago. All these movies comes out, these pirated ones. Netflix was one of those companies in the US who actually sell DVDs. So you go to the website and you order a DVD and they'll ship it to you. And then you watch and then you return. And they were actually competitive to one of the other company called Blockbuster. Blockbuster was the monopoly in this area, and they made huge money. Not by selling DVDs, unfortunately, because when you return, you got to return on a certain date. Otherwise, you get penalized. So they're actually making more money in the penalty fees. Netflix came in and they said, we're going to put kiosk in all the shopping malls. Whatever DVDs you procure from us, you return on the kiosk free of cost. and Netflix was giving hard time to Blockbuster. What happened? So, Reed Hastings, who was the CEO of Netflix, was watching 3 data points. First thing, you see on the red line, that's the number of smartphones in the US. He was actually tracking how many smartphones were actually sold in the US year on year. So that's the data. And you see a small purple line, that's the broadband speed. Because when you introduce broadband in the US, the broadband speed is actually increasing over a period of time. He was actually tracking the data. The next data he was actually looking at is how many households in the US are actually getting a broadband connection. And all these 3 data points intersect on one timeline, which is 2007. And that's when Reed Hastings said, I am not going to do DVDs anymore. What happened? He moved into streaming business. Because right now you have excellent infrastructure to stream data to people's mobile phone and computer. That's exactly what he did. And he started with, do you know the worst show he ever did? Netflix, first show. TV. Anybody? Anyone? Not much Kevin Spacey fans here. It's called House of Cards. Massive hit. And after that, what happened was Reed Hastings started to go to Disney, Walt Disney, 20th Century Fox, Warner Brothers. Give me all your movies. I'm going to put it in Netflix, stream it to you. I'll pay you the cost. Previous slide. So he was actually doing that. Right now, what is Netflix? Anyone? What business that Netflix is? What business that Netflix is in? Anyone? Sorry? Content development. Someone else? Anything? Subscription based. No, they were selling DVDs. Now they move into content streaming. Correct? Now what do they become now? OTT இல்லைங்க, நான் பிஸ்னஸ் சொல்கிறேங்க. முதல்ல போண்டா வித்துட்டு இருந்தாங்க, டீ வச்சாங்க, இப்போ ரெஸ்டாரண்ட் பிஸ்னஸில் இருக்காங்க. That's the evolution I was talking about. So they were selling DVDs, they were into streaming business. Now what business they are in now? Streaming new movies. இல்லைங்க, என்ன தெரியுமா ஆயிட்டாங்க? Again, Reed Hastings was looking at the data. நான் போய் 20th Century Foxக்கும் வார்னர் பிரதர்ஸ்க்கும் கண்டென்ட் குடுறா அப்படின்னு கேட்டு லைசன்சிங் ஃபீஸ் பே பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தேன். I don't want to do that. ஏன்னா அது நிறைய பே பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தேன். Now Netflix is ABM Studios. It's a production company. It's no longer a streaming company. It's actually a production company where they make their own movies and they make their own TV shows. Sell it to you. ஏன் அப்படின்னா நீங்கள் கற்பகம் தேட்டருக்கு போகிறீங்க, கேஜி தேட்டருக்கு போகிறீங்க. சினிமா தேட்டர் ஓனருக்கு எத்தனை பேர் விஜய் ஃபேன், எத்தனை பேர் ஜோதிகா ஃபேன் தெரியுமா? தெரியாது. எத்தனை பேர் ஜோதிகா வந்து சயின்ஸ் ஃபிக்ஷன் மூவியில் காமெடி பண்ணணும்னு தெரியுமா? தெரியாது. Guess what? Netflix exactly knows that. Netflix knows in India, there is a group of people who love Will Smith, who love science fiction, who loves a bit of a dark comedy. Guess what? They will produce that movie just for you. எங்க பண்ணோம்? ஓகே சரி, அதெல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சிச்சு, அதெல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. அதோட மெயின் மோட்டிவ் என்னங்க? மணிங்க. அந்த மாதிரி படத்தை பார்த்தாதான் அடுத்த மாசம் என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? சப்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷனை ரெனியூ பண்ணுவீங்க, இல்லாட்டி கேன்சல் பண்ணிட்டு போயிடுவீங்க. கரெக்டுங்களா? ஸோ த ரீசன் தே டூ இஸ் பர்சனலைஸ்ட் கண்டென்ட் ஜஸ்ட் ஃபார் யூ. உங்களுக்கு எல்லாத்துக்கும் ரெட் கார்பெட் போட முடியாது, என்னால் ஒருத்தருக்கு தான் போட முடியும். ஆனால் உங்க மொபைல் ஃபோன் எடுத்தீங்கன்னா there is a red carpet welcome just for you. எடுங்க யூடியூப் போங்க. வாட் do they recommend you is very different from the friends who's sitting next to you. They get different recommendation. ஏங்க money. So Netflix is no longer a streaming business. It's actually a production company. Now what are they doing now? யாருக்கா தெரியுங்களா? What is Netflix doing now? What do they become now? Now they are no longer into production company. They're doing something else. What is the second big thing you do on the phone? The first thing is entertainment. Spotify, YouTube. What is the next big thing you do on the phone? Games. And what is bad about games? Ads. Jesus. Ads போட்டு தாக்குறாங்க. And they ask you to buy all these goodies. பணம் கொடுத்து வாங்கணும், ஆர்மர் வாங்கணும், ஹெல்மெட் வாங்கணும். Netflix has an amazing model. You come to Netflix games, free of cost, no ads. Everything you can actually play. Don't need to buy anything. Just enjoy your game. And again, why do you want to do that? எதுக்குங்க ஃப்ரீயா தரணும்? எக்ஸாக்ட்லி. உங்களுக்கு இப்போ ஃப்ரீயா கொடுத்தாதான் நீங்க மறுபடியும் சப்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் பண்ணுவீங்க. ஏதோ ஒரு படத்து பேர் மறந்துட்டேன். இன்னும் வாங்குவாங்க. சூர்யா வந்து ஒரு சோப்பு டப்பா கொடுப்பாரு. அந்த சோப்பு டப்பா தாங்க கேம்ஸ். ஓகேங்களா? So that's exactly what. If it's something free, it's not about money. It's make you hooked. So Netflix is no. எங்க இருந்தாங்க? They were actually selling DVDs. Now they are into streaming business. Production company. Now they are into gaming. All for the want of you pay them 150 rupees a month, and that's all Netflix cares. So this was 5 years ago. Reed Hastings was in this interview, TED.com. Next slide. Next slide, please. And one of the things that Reed Hastings was asked was, who do you think is the biggest competitor to Netflix? Correct? At that time, Peacock was there. Disney was trying to get into the streaming business. You know what he said? He said the biggest competitor to Netflix is sleep. He said sleep. The very next moment, I unsubscribed Netflix. It is actually true. The moment a video series, one season of Game of Thrones comes in, it took the whole world 2 days to completely watch all the 8 videos. 2 days. And I was one of the victim as well. And he was absolutely right. So the whole world wants you to consume, to create. And as folks like you love that. Give me all the Korean dramas. I want more. Give me all the, I don't know, Vijay movies or whatever, whoever the star of the day. Give me all those movies. I want to watch it. So basically into the consumption mechanic based on only one thing, dollar. Another case study, we look at McDonald's. How many of you think that McDonald's is selling burgers? They're no longer in the burger business. They are actually a real estate company. It surprise you. Look, I order fries, I order chicken nuggets. How come they are in the real estate business? They have to find the poaching ground where those people actually crave for this McDonald's. And that's exactly where they will put up the stall. And with that, there's a lot of business data they have to analyze. Okay? Next slide, please. Spotify and SoundCloud. This is a very interesting thing. How many of you know about SoundCloud? Raise your hands. SoundCloud. Wow. Okay, let's skip this study then. Next. Okay, cool. So I was talking about all this data. What do we get? We give them a lot of data, right? We should have some kind of a value for that. What do we get? The technology saves time. These days, you don't have to, I don't know how many of you have this analog clock to set an alarm. You have to wake up, tilt some knobs, set up an alarm. It's a painful work. Now you say, hey Google, set me a reminder for 5 o'clock. Set me an alarm for 5 o'clock. Saves you time. Your quality of life is improved. You connect with your loved ones far away. Correct? Even if you are in America, Australia, you can still talk to your parents, your loved ones back home. So it actually helps us to make connected. But having said that, it also helps us to do automate a lot of things. If you take Gmail, now you type something, it autofills for you. Correct? How many have seen this feature? நீங்களே கொஞ்சம் outdated technology இருக்கீங்க. Google has rolled out this feature. Once you have this, you press tab, it auto completes everything. Next slide. We love Instagram, right? Everything we share, we take photos, upload into Instagram, and if you don't get 5 likes in 10 minutes, we take down that post. Happens. Correct? That's what the Instagram. So it's all about sharing information. It makes us easy. WhatsApp. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you have $1 in your phone, in your wallet, doesn't count. If I have so much data about each one of you, that is worth than $1. So data is the new currency for everyone in this world. To give an example, ExxonMobil, which owns a lot of petroleum reserves, all the refineries around the world, is actually valued less than Facebook, who got a lot of personalized data about you. Okay? Facebook company valuation is a lot more. So that actually shows the power of data they have on you. Next. So I talked about data a lot. Let's talk about something called intelligence. How many of you, okay, tell me what you mean by intelligence. How do you prove to yourself that you are an intelligent being? எப்படிங்க ப்ரூவ் பண்ணுவீங்க? Come on, anyone. Try it. என்னங்க? How do you prove that? How do you prove to yourself that you are an intelligent being? Come on. Test it out. The best person can answer in this world is usually your parents. Test it out. So, anyone, do you want to give it a shot? So usually when I talk about intelligence in an AI conference, usually it gets a lot more philosophical. Okay, and intelligence is a lot more philosophical concept to it. But having said that, let's put some empirical thing to it and let's look at what intelligence is. It's an environment. So you learn from your environment. Correct? So right now, a lot of people are actually sitting just down the fan. I believe that you want some comfort, fair enough, that exhibits intelligence. And you learn by experiment. Have you seen how the baby actually learns to walk? Tries to walk, take the steps, falls down, take another step, it learns. So we learn by experiment, and that becomes wisdom. If you are a child and you touch a fire, and by touching a fire you know that it's hot, do you think you will ever touch the fire again? Absolutely not, unless you are not intelligent being. So what the computers are actually trying to do is, it is programmed to find functions, okay? It is programmed to collect data, and it is absolutely no intelligence to it. The way the computers are trying to learn is by data. Data is the raw material for any computers to learn. So what happens in the system? You give a data and you give a program and it produces an output. Give you an example. A program is A plus B equal to C. Data is A equal to 1, B equal to 2. What is C? 3. Easy, right? It's extremely easy. Next one. Yep. So how the small computer program learns to build intelligence is through this. It takes the data, it takes the output of your program, and the AI system will give you the program. So next time you don't give anything, you give output equal to 3, input equal to 1, 1 and 2, and then you give series of data. Okay. Next time you give data as 5 plus 5 comma 5, output as 10. The AI actually figures out you're actually trying to do addition, and it outputs the program A plus B. What do you do with the program? You can hook it to the computer, and it gives you the output. Amazing stuff. Guess what? Where it actually comes in? Next slide. So, an artificial intelligence can only do 3 things. 3 things at the best. First thing is, it can do forecasting. So if you give a lot of data and ask it to forecast, it can forecast with extreme accuracy. If you try to forecast whether that bus is going to be late by 5 minutes, it can do that. If you try to forecast this crowd will probably sleep in next 5 minutes, it can also do that. Extremely good with forecasting. Forecast sales, forecast logistics. It's very good. How do you think Vasant & Co. and all this BEA, all these vendors know how much to stock fridge, TVs during a holiday season? They do forecasting. Extremely good. The next thing it can do is classification. So if you give a bunch of data, it's able to classify. Okay, if you give a lot of photos about dog and a cat, and you ask the computer to actually identify whether it's a dog or a cat, it's easy. It's extremely easy. And it can do classification. And it can also do pattern recognition. And that's extremely important. I'll tell you a great example of how the pattern recognition actually works. When you go into Amazon and you buy a product and you scroll down, what actually tells you? People who bought this product also bought this. Typical pattern recognition. So it finds out what people actually bought together and recommends you. Again, why? Dollar. Okay, it wants to make more money of per transaction. And it got very intelligent over a period of time. So now if you go and try to buy a bed, they try to bundle you pillows, sheets, covers, and they give you a bundled offer. You try to go and buy one product, but what you end up is buying 6 products. They tricked you to make more money. Again, that's pattern recognition, power of pattern recognition just for you. So, just as a summary, so the way the business actually trying to do is no longer shooting in the dark. They have all the data about you, all the data about their business. So whatever decisions they're trying to take, it's all completely data driven. 100% completely data driven. And how do you automate all the decision making? You take the data and give it to an AI engine, and then that will absolutely automate your process and scales it up. Correct? The recommendation engine doesn't work for me. It works for everyone in the world. Correct? And that's what exactly it's. And they use this scientific approach to experiment, learn, and adapt. To give you an example, let's say you go into Netflix, you watch a couple of science fiction movies. And what's the recommendation you can actually see? Obviously, science fiction movies. But having said that, you are into Korean drama for some reason. You watch a lot of Korean series. You skip the recommendation, you go and watch Korean drama, couple of series. Next time you come and refresh that home button, guess what comes up in the recommendation engine? Bloody Korean dramas. Very simple. And look at all your friends, all your profiles, and then it actually figures it out. Okay? Extremely simple, powerful. And it is scientific, correct? That's how the scientists actually learn. Next slide, please. I've given you an example of Netflix, how it actually does the recommendation engine. So, with respect to business uncertainties, I'm pretty sure they have covered all these things. So I'll just skip it. There's a lot of uncertainties in the business, okay, which we call as risks. And with data, we can actually quantify the risk and look at mitigation strategies. And with business analytics, you're able to do that. To give you a best example, when Disney wants to get into streaming, who was the pioneer there? Amazon Prime and Netflix. So Disney was a little bit concerned. Hey, there is a lot of uncertainties in the market. I don't think I can get 100 million customers. So they're a little bit scared to go into this streaming business. But having said that, the business analytics department come up with good analytics to mitigate the risk. Guess what? Which is the number 2 platform in terms of streaming? After Netflix, it's Disney streaming. Not Amazon Prime, not Peacock. They did that using data. No. So, yeah, skip it. Next slide. Give you a perfect example of which combines business analytics and also with the engagement. So 5 years ago, if I send you a YouTube link, when you click on that YouTube link, what happens in WhatsApp? For YouTube link, what happens? Sorry? It redirects. Click on that YouTube link, it either opens up in a YouTube app or it opens in your Chrome browser or whatever browser you have. Right now, if I send you the same YouTube link, you click on it, what happens? It opens on the same screen. என்னங்க பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா WhatsApp figured out, somebody click on this link, go to YouTube, watch that video, watch whatever YouTube recommends, dog video, cat video, whatever video, cooking video, and you end up spending more time in YouTube. Whereas you should be spending more time in WhatsApp. So right now it does that. So right now you open it, it opens in your YouTube, it opens YouTube in your WhatsApp, close it, what happens? You go back to WhatsApp. You go back to checking status messages of your crush, of your mother, whoever it is. And you stay inside WhatsApp. It's a product decision. For you, it's a simple thing. But for a product designer like us, we use a lot of data to find the behavior you're actually exhibiting using our product. Any digital product you touch, they gather so much data about you so that they can do all these kind of tweaks. Perfect example, WhatsApp figured out you're sharing a lot of passwords, which you should not do. They come up with this time limit function, correct? Now you send, it auto deletes. Clever use of technology and data. The other piece of thing, I don't think anybody here uses this, but again, let me check. How many of you walked in Brookfields and Prozone Mall with your Bluetooth enabled, open? யாரு பண்ணது இல்லையாங்க? ட்ரை பண்ணுங்க. என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா, they have this something called beacon devices, which you see on the blue, which happened to me recently. I was walking with my Bluetooth on, which I normally don't do. I was actually walking past Tommy Hilfiger store. Within a fraction of time, I see a pop-up push notification. Hey, Selva, I've got an offer for you. If you want to buy this Tommy Hilfiger t-shirt, I give you 30% discount. Do it right now. Very tempting. Extremely tempting, right? Because usually Tommy Hilfiger t-shirts are a bit expensive. 10,000, sometimes 15,000. If they 30% gets discount, good deal, I would probably walk in. Let's go back to what really happens in that particular 2 millisecond that happened. Tommy Hilfiger was able to track my phone. Within millisecond, they figured out I am the ideal customer. It's not given to anyone. Even if you walk now, I don't think you will get an offer. It's figured out based on some of the data I've actually given. An AI behind the scene figured out what's the right discount. If you give 10%, I would not consider it, correct? 30%, little bit enticing, tempting. It figured out the right discount. I'm pretty sure if my boss walks in, I don't think he'll be offered a 30% discount, probably 20% discount. Who knows? But these kind of revenue maximization technology are right now deployed in the business. Another idea, you probably gone to a lot of movies. You probably got a lot of popcorn. There is something called a fake pricing model. You buy 250 grams of popcorn, it will cost you 250 rupees. If you buy half a kilo of popcorn, it will cost you 300 rupees. 1 kilo of popcorn costs you 1000 rupees. Which one will you take? எல்லாரும் அரை கிலோ தாங்க வாங்குவோம். அட 50 ரூபா அதிகம்டா. We'll buy it. Guess what? That is not by anything. It is by design. They want you to consume more. It is something called fake pricing strategy. It's used in all the business. Next slide, please. So that's what it is all about. And look, as the data, they definitely want to look at the dollar count. Okay, what's the time? Next. Look, the really good thing I noticed about India, especially in the civil services, they automate a lot of things. I don't know how hard it is to change your name transfer. Now these are digitized thanks to the government. They're doing a lot of good things. Yeah, skip. Okay, comes to the skill part. How many of you do not know about ChatGPT? Excellent. We are afraid too, just like you. It is coming to steal our jobs, isn't it? A lot of the technical writers, marketing people already scrambling this head. Hey, this ChatGPT could do much better job than me. It is true. So I will give away 5 points for you to be future job ready. First thing, ask the right business question, which means you have to think. Thinking has become unfortunately, a hard thing for humans to do. In this digital age, where most of the audience around the world are digitally distracted using an amazing device called smartphones. Okay? Ask the right business question, which means you have to be passionately curious, understand what's going on. Extremely important soft skills to have. Understand the business domain. Any business you go into, understand what they're doing as a business. The restaurant, understand how the business actually operates. What products they sell. How much they sell it for. What services they sell. Do they generate more money? How the service delivery is be given. Okay, it's extremely important to understand the business domain. Next slide, please. Understand the data. As an MBA student, if you are given an amazing data, I'm pretty sure in your lifetime you are given a So understand the data. Before you do business analytics, AI, data is the one that you should focus on. Otherwise, it will become fake data. You will apply wrong analysis, comes to wrong conclusions, and you produce inaccurate business insights, which is not going to help the business. Okay? Understand the data extremely well. Apply the right data to the right problem. Again, it comes with experience. I'm pretty sure you will learn during your specialized course what this is all about. Thank you very much. I'm open to few questions. Happy to take questions. Any questions? You want to go with the next one? Sir, the students ask and then you can come back later. Yeah.
Any questions?
If you ask questions, you get to go to lunch quick.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. What are the high demanded business analytical tool now, except for Tabule and Python or programming, which is better?
Okay, so if you're learning about tools, the tools that you actually mentioned is for visualization. That is one set of the thing, and visualization is powerful. The hot tool at the moment is Power BI, Tableau. Those are the two major things that most of the companies around Coimbatore are actually using. So if you want to get a job as a data analyst, powering visualization, those are the two tools you can actually focus on, Power BI and Tableau. Okay, thank you very much. But before I leave, I just want a story. It's a real story. Ayyo. 3 months ago, there was an 8th standard student who came to our office with a resume in hand. His name was Arnav. You've probably seen his thing in some newspaper or anything. He was 8th standard student studying in some school in Tondamudu, 8th standard. And I was told to actually talk to this person. And I said, look, okay, come in. And I asked him, what do you want? And he said, sir, I want a job in data science. Jesus, 8th standard student asking for a job. Okay, so let me ask you a few technical questions. And he did 16 projects in data science. Build an app, build an amazing website, start from the scratch without any Stack Overflow copying code, which was also interesting. Then I realized that he's very good. He spoke really good English, exhibited confidence, sat in front of me with confidence, no fear, 8th standard student. He was very curious to learn. Unfortunately, we didn't give him a job, labor loss. But having said that, what makes us stand amazed about this thing is, I took that resume and give it to all the staff in my organization. They were not threatened by technology like ChatGPT or any technology tool for that matter. The competition comes from 8th standard student, which is ridiculous in a way, but that's the fact. Wherever you go, that's going to be the fact. Whether you use the piece of technology that you have for watching Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, or learn something from Udemy or Coursera or Stanford, that is really up to you, not anybody in this world. Thank you very much.
Keynotes from your session, sir. We got more insights about data, where data has to be agreed. If it is not, it is fake news. And data is the current currency now. And we focus to get more information about Netflix, McDonald's, Instagrams, WhatsApp, etc. And use of artificial intelligence in business analytics to make data-driven decision and skill set that that we have to develop. On behalf of the management, I thank you for providing your gracious presence to join us today to enhance our thoughts on risk in business analytics.
Now I request Dr. Nagaprakash, Associate Professor, Department of MBA, to present a memento to our chief guest, Dr. Selvaraju.
Lunch. 1 to 2. Lunch break 1 to 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us having lunch together. I would like to inform you that our lunch break is from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. It will be a great honor